Hey there, my name is Jim. I run CGC Sports Illustrated, and today doing a video that was requested by a viewer of this channel. So I love that, by the way. So if you've got video ideas, DM me on social media, drop a comment here on YouTube. So somebody suggested that I do a video discussing the top sleeper issues that are modern. So let's throw vintage out of the equation, but the top modern sleeper issues. So that's what we're going to look at today. Couple of disclaimers real quick. I only talk about newsstand issues. I don't collect subscription issues. So whenever I'm talking about something, it's always newsstand issues. Disclaimer number two, I do my best to remind you when I own issues that I talk about. That way, you know where I stand on everything personally. So as we get into this, I started going through and putting this video together. I think I had a ton of covers. I had like almost 40. And I was like, man, I really need to whittle that down into a manageable number. And then I thought, you know what? This is my freaking show. I can do whatever the hell I want. So I've got almost 40 modern sleeper issues for you here. So we're just going to really rip through these babies and talk a little bit about pop reports. So when I say modern issues, I originally thought, okay, let's start in 1990 and then go to current. But then I found a couple of issues from 1989 that I really wanted to include in here. So there's two issues from 1989, but the rest are all after 1990. And this is one of those issues. So this is Troy Aikman's first Sports Illustrated cover, August 21st, 1989. Three Super Bowls with the Cowboys, played for the Cowboys, Hall of Famer, is probably part of one of the top broadcast booths in the NFL today with Joe Buck. And by the way, an athlete and what they do after they retire and how they stay in the public eye absolutely increases their collectability. I think this is a huge sleeper issue. There's a total of there's a total of 5 graded. That's it. I do own this in 9.4. It's the only copy I've ever been able to find. It is the highest graded copy, but Troy Aikman, first modern sleeper issue. Next up, November 13th, 1989. Deion Sanders. I love this cover. Primetime was amazing. 2 Sports, Hall of Famer. Now he's the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. Really difficult issue to find in newsstand. Again, there's only 4 of these that are graded. So that's kind of what I went through in this process of coming up with sleeper issues. Okay, what are their stats? They make it to the Hall of Fame. What sort of cultural impact did they have within sports, cultural impact out of sports? And then pop counts were a big part of why I thought an issue might be a sleeper. So issues with low pop counts, that kind of contributed to it. And this is definitely one of them. So I do own this, but it's at CGC being graded right now. 9.0, that's the highest copy graded. And there's only 4 graded copies of this Deion Sanders issue. Next one up here. This is Mike Tyson. So this is March 25th. 1991, not his first cover. That wouldn't be a sleeper. What I love about this cover, it's an early Tyson cover, but I also love the headline Desert Storm, March 1991, right after Operation Desert Storm started. I thought that did a great job of capturing, that moment in time, both within sports and outside of sports. There's only 5 copies of this graded. The highest is 9.6. I think I own this one. I think I own it at 9.5. August 19th, 1991 is up next. This cover is one of my absolute favorites. It is John Daly's first cover. He had a hell of a run there for a short period of time, but a hell of a run there. And he's just become such an awesome guy to watch, still playing the game. He's throwing down heaters and slamming Miller Lights on the course. I'm a big John Daly fan, and I absolutely love this one. I don't believe there are any of these graded yet from Sports Illustrated. I do own one, and it's at CGC being graded right now. Next up, it is October. This is, October 26th. Yeah, October 26th, 1992. Couple of reasons for this one. John Smoltz, Hall of Famer, played on those great Braves teams. Also one of the best broadcasters in baseball today. But I also thought this was really cool. This is the only copy of Sports Illustrated I could find that was done in landscape mode, sideways, as opposed to the normal portrait mode. So I thought that was kind of cool. I can tell you there's only 2 copies of this graded. I own one at 9.0, but there is also a 9.4 that exists. March 20th, 1995. I wanted to throw a couple Michael Jordan covers in here, and this is one of them. but kind of maybe the lesser known Michael Jordan covers. I really like this one. It's when he left baseball to come back to the Bulls. The reason why I really like it is it's got that comic book feel. He's kind of opening up his shirt like Superman. He's coming out of the phone booth. He's got the baseball cap flying off and the Bulls jersey on underneath him. I've just always loved this one and always thought it was a really good sleeper. So this Michael Jordan caricature artist rendering issue from 1991. I'm a huge Dennis Rodman fan, and I can't believe that this one is so underrated, and it absolutely is. So this is May 29th, 1995, first Dennis Rodman cover. There's a 9.6. There's a 9.0. I own that one. An 8.5, an 8.0, and a 7.0. That's it. 5 copies of this graded. Really tough to find, and why I love this one, and I just, it's so tough to find. And if you ever do see one graded for sale, they're always really expensive. It just this cover captures Dennis Rodman. He's got like a garter bustier thing that he's wearing. He's in a leopard print chair. He's wearing a dog collar, red hair, and got a bird on his arm. I mean, everything about it screams Dennis Rodman, and definitely a sleeper issue in my opinion. August 14th, 1995. So this one, not the most exciting pitcher by a long shot, but this guy could strike you out in 3 pitches and none of them going faster than 82 miles an hour. It is Greg Maddox's first Sports Illustrated cover. This is a variant. You know, I love first covers and I love variants, and I really love first cover variants. Impossible to find. The variants are not broken out in the CGC census, unfortunately, but of all the covers that were produced that week, there's only 4 of them. I own this one, and it's at CGC being graded right now. This one's really interesting. A-Rod, love him, hate him. He was a massive superstar. He's a Hall of Famer. He's still a broadcaster today. He's very involved in business, has a very high public profile. And this is his first Sports Illustrated cover. There's, let's see, 4, 5, only 6 copies of this graded. There's one 9.8. So really, really cool cover there of Alex Rodriguez. I own a couple of them, and they're at CGC right now. I love this one. December 23rd, 1996. This is Tiger Woods' second ever Sports Illustrated cover. This is the Sportsman of the Year from that year. There's 18 of these graded. There's a lot of them. There's 2 9.8s. I own a couple of them at CGC being graded right now, but there's a couple of Tiger issues in here and that are not his most popular ones. This one definitely underrated. November 11th, 1996 is up next. This is a great looking cover. So the big 3 centers from the Los Angeles Lakers history, Shaq, Kareem, and George Mikan. What an awesome freaking cover this is. 1 copy has been graded. It's at 9.6. That's it. What an awesome looking cover. Nobody's first cover by a long shot. But a great looking cover and a great bit of history there, showing the 3 huge centers in the Los Angeles Lakers during their an amazing franchise there. Love this one. March 31st, 1997. This is Randy Johnson's first Sports Illustrated cover, the big unit. 7 copies of this graded. That's it. There's one 9.8, one 9.6. Really, really rare, really tough to find. I love this one. March 9th, 1998. Allen Iverson, his first cover. I do own this at 9.0. That is the highest graded. It's a Pop 2. But again, it's frigging Allen Iverson. And there's only 2 copies that are graded. Big time sleeper modern issue here. Here's another Jordan one squeaking in. So this is December 28th, 1998. Good looking Jordan cover. I do love it, obviously, because you've got Ali and Ruth on the cover. But for a Jordan cover, very low pop count. 8 total copies have been graded. There are 2 9.4s. I own one of those 9.4s. Part of the on my Michael Jordan collection, where I own all 50 of his copies graded. I love this one. And again, another super low pop count. First Kurt Warner cover. So this is October 18th, 1999. There's one 9.8. I own the 9.4, and there's only 4 copies of this one graded. So Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. That team was incredible, absolutely incredible, and a ton of fun to watch. August 14th, 2000. Kind of interested in this one. Michael Vick first cover. There's only 2 copies graded. There's a 9.6 and a 9.0. I own the 9.0. You know, he was amazing in college. He was amazing in the pros. He obviously, had his run-ins with the law and, with nasty stuff there. But he's back working for Fox Sports and kind of rebuilding his public image and public profile. I think Michael Vick was an amazing guy to watch and definitely a sleeper issue. June 25th, 2001. I can't believe this issue here. So there's a number of these graded, not a ton, 10 of them. This is my favorite Kobe cover that's not his first cover. It's Kobe and Shaq. It's in 2001. It's right when they were just crushing the NBA, three-peating, winning all sorts of championships. I see these sell on eBay and I'm like, that's all that went for? I've seen these slabbed and sell real cheap. And I'm really surprised. Because I think this is just a great, beautiful looking cover. There is 9.8 and there's one 9.6. Not a lot of those out there. I love this one. Dirk Nowitzki. This is his first Sports Illustrated cover when he was with the Mavs. An amazing player, Hall of Famer, incredible, iconic in the Dallas franchise. Low pop count. There's only 7 of these. There's 3 9.8s and 2 9.2s for the first Dirk Nowitzki cover. Talked about this one before. I mean, I'm a huge Randy Moss fan. I loved him when he was in college. I loved him when he was in the pros. This is his first cover from September 2nd, 2002. I do own this at 9.8. I also own it at 9.6. There are only 7 copies of this one graded. And Randy Moss, still a broadcaster today and working for ESPN and killing it there and keeping his profile in the public pretty high. Time for a Tom Brady sleeper. February 9th, 2004. So this is Brady's second Sports Illustrated cover, weekly cover ever. So this was, again, February 2004. 15 copies of these graded. There's only one 9.8. 3 9.6s. Just a great looking early Tom Brady cover. I like those early covers from those stars that had a ton of covers like Brady did. April 19th, 2014. I have never owned this one. Phil Mickelson's first cover. There is only are only 2 copies of this graded. There's a 9.4 and there's a 6.5, and that's it. And he's one of the greatest golfers of our generation. Love him or hate him because he jumped over to live. Whatever. The guy had an amazing career, and I can't believe there's only 2 Phil Mickelson first Sports Illustrated covers graded in existence. That blows my mind. January 23rd, 2006. I own one of these. It's at CGC being graded. This is Ben Roethlisberger. This is his first cover. This is also a variant. So there are 4 covers produced that week. Ben's a Hall of Famer. The Steelers are an iconic franchise, rabid fan base that collect everything. There are 4 9.8s. Unfortunately, we don't know how many of those are the Ben issue and how many are the other athletes because CGC hasn't broken this variant out separately yet. But Ben Roethlisberger, first cover, very underrated. Next up, another Tiger issue, July 31st, 2006. We all know how important Tiger's dad was in his life. And, his father passes away and he goes out right after that and wins the British Open. And I just thought that this was a very somber, classy cover, kind of a wide shot of Tiger with some people in the crowd and the headline Father's Day. I mean, that's just brings up emotions. If you remember that for Tiger and that win, he was certainly emotional about that one. It's just a great looking cover. There's only 3 of them graded. I mean, that's it. I do own a couple of these at CGC being graded right now. July 16th, 2007, first David Beckham cover. Obviously he was, a huge player over in Europe, came to the United States and played in the MLS. And now he's an owner of the Inter Miami MLS team, which is still rumored to possibly be getting, Messi playing there this upcoming year. So, this is a massive first cover. There are only 3 copies graded, and the highest graded is 8.5. I do not currently own this one right now, but a great looking David Beckham first cover and way underrated and a sleeper. Next up, talked about this one on an unboxing video recently. This is January 28th, 2008. This is Eli Manning's first Sports Illustrated cover. I do own this at 9.4. There's also a 9.2. I mean, Eli Manning is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying I guarantee you he will be in the Hall of Fame. He won 2 Super Bowls. He beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and he played in New York. All of that matters. If you don't think playing in a major market with a hugely popular franchise like the New York Giants matters, you don't understand how Hall of Fame voting works. Not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the way it is. So very much a sleeper issue here for the first Eli Manning cover. Never owned this one. What a great cover. So this is July 14th, 2008. This is not only Rafael Nadal's first cover, it's also Roger Federer's first cover. So 2 of the greatest tennis players, of our generation, and they both have the same cover as their first cover. There's only 2 copies of this graded. There's a 9.0 and there's an 8.5. Really a sleeper issue. May 25th, 2009. I love this issue. I think it's my favorite LeBron James issue outside of his first cover. It's Cleveland Rocks. There's a 9.8. There's a number of 9.6s. I've owned a ton of these. I've got more at CGC being graded. I just think that this is a super underrated LeBron issue and maybe one of my favorites of his of all time. This one's awesome. This is Megatron and his first Sports Illustrated cover. Calvin Johnson. This is also a regional variant. So again, making it more rare. It's a first cover variant. October 10th, 2011. There's 1 copy that's been graded. It's a 9.8, and it's mine. I own it. Can't believe that there's only 1 Megatron first cover that's been graded. Definitely a sleeper. Next up, September 3rd, 2012, Rob Gronkowski's first cover. Again, another variant. There were 2 different covers produced this week. CGC has not broken them out separately, so we don't know which ones are Gronk's and which ones are the others, but there's been a total of 10 copies graded. 0 9.8s and 3 9.6s. Love Gronk. And, he's got his big thing happening in the Super Bowl and where he's making a kick for FanDuel and people can win money and all that stuff. And he's going to be in the public eye for a long, long time to come. Another Jordan issue. So this is February 18th, 2013. So there's been 11 copies of these graded. 9.4 is the highest graded copy, ultra condition sensitive. I own one of those 9.4s. I just think this is an iconic looking cover. It was Jordan's been on the cover 50 times. This is the 50th cover. It came out on his 50th birthday. You've got the big 5-0 on the cover, and then you've got that shot of Jordan doing the famous, dunk from the free throw line. And what I think is so cool about this is we've all seen that famous free throw line dunk, but normally you see it from the side. And he's jumping and you can see him, how much distance he covers. This is a different angle on it that I just think is really cool. It's coming at the hoop as opposed to seeing that side shot. So I think of one of the underrated and sleeper Jordan covers. I've talked about this before. This is Andrew Wiggins. This is his first cover. I think what he's doing with Golden State is amazing. I think he's definitely an up-and-comer. Just a great looking cover here. This came out October 14th, 2013. There's 1 9.6. I own that. And there's 1 9.0. Only 2 copies graded for one of the up-and-coming stars in the NBA. I almost took this one out, but there's a number of reasons why I like this. Number 1, it's a variant, 2 different covers. Number 2, it's Kyrie Irving's first Sports Illustrated cover. Now, we all know Kyrie's crazy, and I certainly wouldn't want him playing on my team. But he's a hell of a player, had a great career in college, has had a great career in the NBA. And then plus you've got LeBron James on this cover too. So I think kind of all of those things together kind of really make this a sleeper. Oh, by the way, there's only 1 copy that's graded. It's mine. It's a 9.6. That's it. Again, very much a sleeper cover, even though Kyrie is out of his freaking mind. I love this cover. I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. I wish that he was, I wish he was having more success. I'd love to see Russell win a championship. This is April 6th, 2015. Again, this is a variant cover. It's a first cover. They have broken out the Russell Westbrook copy separately. There's 1 9.6 and there's 1 9.0. I own a ton of these raw at CGC being graded right now. Next up, I'm a big fan of this one. This is Conor McGregor and his first Sports Illustrated cover. He still has obviously a big presence in the UFC, even though he's really not fighting, although there's rumors of more fights coming up. But he's one of the few UFC athletes that really has a presence beyond the UFC. He's got his own line of Irish whiskey. He still stays out there in the public eye, whether it's, run-ins with the police or not. I'm just a big Conor McGregor fan. February 29th, 2016. I own a bunch of these raw at CGC being graded right now. There's only 5 copies that have been graded. Another Tom Brady sleeper. I think this is one of my favorite Tom Brady's. That's not one of his early covers. This is January 30th, 2017. It's him and Matt Ryan. The significance of that is this came out right before that amazing Super Bowl where the Patriots were down 28-3 versus the Falcons and came back and won it. And I think that this image of both he and Matt Ryan on the cover just captures that fantastically. There's 5 copies graded. There's a 9.6. That's the highest. And I've got a bunch of these at CGC. But I don't think I own any of those slabbed currently. Next up, June 5th, 2017. Great looking cover. LeBron and Steph Curry back in the day when those two were constantly battling for championships. I just think this is an underrated cover. There's 2 copies graded. There's one 9.8 and there's one 9.2, and that's it. I've owned this one before. I don't own it slabbed currently, but I got more at CGC being graded. This is Neymar's first cover. Huge soccer star with Brazil. Came out on August 7th, 2017. I mean, there's a handful of international soccer stars that have a high profile here in the United States. Neymar is certainly one of them. There's only 8 copies of this graded. There's 3 9.4s. That's the highest graded. Very, very condition sensitive. I may get some flack for this last one here, but Trevor Lawrence, this is his first Sports Illustrated cover. This is from January 14th, 2019. You can sit here and say, well, Trevor Lawrence, underrated? How is that possible? I think it is possible. I think this is still a sleeper issue. I see what these sell for on eBay when they've been slabbed, and I'm shocked because I think that Trevor Lawrence is easily currently a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And let's be honest, his rookie season was a freaking disaster with Urban Meyer there. And you can almost kind of quasi say that, that this is really his first real season. And he took the Jaguars, which were a dumpster fire of a franchise, to the playoffs and won a playoff game. It's also a variant first cover. Now there's a ton of these graded, 37. Including 12 9.8s and 11 9.6s. But I still think that this Trevor Lawrence cover from 2019, because I think he has so much potential ahead of him now that he's got Urban Meyer off his back, because it's a variant, and because of what I see these sell for, I think this is still very much a sleeper issue. All right, rip through those in a hurry. That was a ton, almost 40 of them. Hope you liked it. Please follow me on social media. It's the same username here, CGC Sports Illustrated. If you got comments or want ideas, how-tos, or suggestions for future videos, DM me on social. Drop a comment here on YouTube. Really appreciate you watching. Thanks.